So, I guess we find ourselves at an impasse. I could continue doing the subathon normally, or we could watch the quartering. I need one more video out. Guess we're watching the quartering. Sorry, everybody. But first, before we go any further, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. This one is from Mira Medchan. Said, Blizzy in the real world. Not sure if it looks better with or without the shadow. Getting back into drawing and thought this would be a cool drawing. The one with the shadow is right here. I think it looks better with the shadow, honestly. It adds a little depth to it. The next one we have here is from Caldifer. This piece was an idea that got stuck in my head while working on a Final Fantasy IX piece, and I had to get it out. You're welcome. Well, I guess this means that super fighting robot slime chaser Suris is real. Also, apparently, I can fire bigger slimes out. Jesus Christ. Charge shot creates a bigger variation of the normal shot that traces the ground until it comes into contact with something and explodes into 6 more slimes that also explode. And yes, the slime bra. There's a slime bra there. There's a lot of detail in this piece. There's a lot of details in this one. I like it. The last one we have here is from Reggie Vapor, pen and ink on Bristol. Suris and one of his dogs. I used a couple of the Patreon videos as reference. Oh, so it's Growlith. For those who don't know, I actually do show videos of my pets off on Patreon every now and again, so that's where that comes from. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. But with that said, subscribe and stuff. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. This one is the quartering saying that, Neil deGrasse Tyson destroyed for insane woke take on gender by based detransitioner. That's a mouthful. That's a lot of words. Let's go ahead and see why those words are there.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Suppose no matter my chromosomes, today I feel 80% female, 20% male. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male. I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt.
What's on, everyone? Why is that even funny? Like, there's just somebody describing gender fluidity. Neat, I guess.
Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I know I am. It's Tuesday? Wednesday. I don't know what day it is anymore. I never leave. Okay, it's Wednesday.
It's the day to pee in your basement, Jeremy.
Happy Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, I only ever ask that you leave a like on the video, and if you haven't yet, I hope today I will earn your subscription. I know it probably seems like a pain to create an account and do whatever, but I assure you it helps, and it helps other creators that you like to watch too to subscribe to them so that maybe they'll get shown a little bit more and get some discoverability.
Or instead of doing all that, you could instead subscribe to my channel. Instead of that, we could do that. You know, plugging. Said, and he's synkless. Yeah, there's not a sync happening here. He's unsynced.
So I hope I'll earn that today. Neil deGrasse Tyson. We all know a much beloved astrophysicist. Very interesting man to hear talk about space things. When he talks about gender ideology, I really don't care what he has to say. It's very similar. You actually wonder why this seems to be with all these woke scientists. You know,
Is it maybe that some of those scientists are smart and therefore they believe in things that are correct? And you just happen to label them woke, and in your brain that just means incorrect?
Science is a hard fact, right? It's a hard science, literally. And you got people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye competing for who can be the bigger idiot when it comes to gender being on a spectrum.
God, who wants to see Bill Nye get in a debate with the quartering and just own his ass?
One probably remembers Bill Nye's heinous rap song, my sex junk. It's so Remember that song? Yeah, that was Bill Nye promoting gender ideology, using his position as a scientist to spread, I don't know, leftism, cultural Marxism, insanity.
Leftism, cultural Marxism, insanity? What? Also, Tessa, thank you for the hydrate. I have a little bit of this vitamin water left from the exercise stuff. Another quartering. What have we done to do this? Nothing. Nothing. You all just deserved it by birthright.
Well, it seems to me that I feel like I've seen this Neil deGrasse Tyson video before, but some new reactions are coming out, including some pretty funny ones. Neil deGrasse Tyson says biology is insufficient at explaining gender ideology. It's actually 100% sufficient. It's probably the easiest thing to say, right? And teen transition activist.
Wait, but how though? Biologically, we have men, we have women, and we have people who fall in between who are intersex. And then on gender, we have men and women and people who fall in between who are non-binary. Almost as if these are different concepts that we've used to describe similar things over the years. You can't just be like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. One automatically describes the other. No, they are two different, linked, but different things.
This detransition activist Chloe Cole rips his claims. Now, if you've been following kind of the trans movement, you saw big, it was very popular to get the surgery and all that stuff. After a few years passed, we're already seeing many people regret those surgeries and go back, although their bodies will never be the same, obviously.
Many, and by many he means less than 1%. He means a percentage of a percentage. He means a fraction of a fraction. That's not many. That's like an infinitesimal amount. Now, the people who do detransition, they do tend to have louder voices than most other people because, for instance, as an example, right? Let's go ahead and say that for every trans activist, there's 100 people who are trans and are not activists. They just exist. That's about it. If there are, what is the numbers? 0.1% detransition out of the 0.01% of people detransition, and the studies we've done on detransitioning show that of the people who detransition, a lot of them do it because of social pressure. So, but if we take just 10 of those voices, all we need is 10 of the hundreds of them that there are. All you need is like 10. And you put them in the Daily Wire, in the Daily Mail, over on Breitbart. You have them talk for One American News Network over on Fox News. If you have just those 10 people make the rounds there, to most simple-minded people, like Jeremy, it's going to look like there's a lot of them because look at all these different people. I see them on the news all the time. Think about how many faces who are not celebrities that you actually remember all the time. You probably don't. So when you see these faces prop up over and over again, you get basically a few stories of regret, which should be acknowledged, but you get a few stories of regret that end up pushing everybody to try to restrict the rights of all trans people. This is the same thing that happens with the transformed wife when she's like, I wish I could have had one more child, and I could have had one more child if only I hadn't been told to not have kids for the first couple years of my marriage. I could have had 5 instead of 4. Oh, restrict women's rights because I was an idiot. You get that. You get that shit.
Obviously. And become advocates speaking out against it. There's about a half dozen of them already that have become social media stars doing so. And famous detransitioner activist Chloe Cole slammed Neil deGrasse Tyson after he posted a TikTok insisting that biology was insufficient in explaining gender ideology. In the video, Tyson said that people should think about gender as a spectrum because sometimes people feel more female than male and sometimes they put on makeup in the morning and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, because gender is social. Sometimes people go further and start modifying their bodies biologically. Sometimes they don't. This is how gender is.
None of those things actually determine what your gender is. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male and I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt, Tyson said. Apparently the XX and XY chromosome are insufficient because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice, he continued.
Yeah. Also, when you go outside and you talk to normal people in normal reality, you don't go, hello, madame, or I'm assuming, madame. Have you given your papers to me today? Have you given me the papers that show that your chromosomes are exactly what you say they are? Have you had the time to go and prove to me? Can I please, ma'am, look under your skirt so you can prove to me that you really are a woman? No, you don't do that. Normal fucking people don't do that. And because normal people don't fucking do that, most people base how we operate in real life, whether you know it or not, on how people present themselves. There are a lot of trans women and trans men who present themselves so well, or they've gone under HRT and therefore their bodies have actually fundamentally changed to the point where you cannot clock them anymore. You cannot always tell. And those people, you've probably interacted with them. If you work retail or something like that, where you're in a high influx of people environment, you've probably interacted with these people over and over and over again in your life, and you would never know that they're trans. And you know why that matters? Because you don't have to know. It doesn't matter. It never mattered whether or not they were trans. All that mattered is that you treated them with respect. This is one of the reasons, for instance, and I know that the majority of my family doesn't watch my channel, but this is one of the reasons why, for instance, I have not discussed that Sagi is trans with the rest of my family, where they have met her, they have all stated that they absolutely adore her, they love having her around, but they've never made mention of, nor do I think they can tell, that she's trans. Most trans people want their lives to operate exactly like that, because the trans part of their identity is not the important part. People make it the important part. People make it so political to just be a trans person that they don't end up having a choice. They end up having to be trans before they're a human being. Which is absolutely baffling. Like, it's also frustrating. It's also frustrating because you get then this cycle where people go, well, why is that the most important part of your identity? And then it's not. It's only that important because other people have forced it to be so. If you were having to fight for HRT or rights to surgery or rights for that, if you weren't having to fight for those things or worry about those things, the trans part of the identity probably wouldn't matter as much. But other people, like Jeremy, they make it matter more. And then they create the world where they get to hurt people. It's stupid.
Cole, 19, who actively opposes gender-affirming care for minors after transitioning herself, called out Tyson for comparing biology to makeup in a video she posted to Twitter on Tuesday.
So he didn't compare biology to makeup. That's not what he did. He said that it is different. He said that there is biology and then there is gender, and gender is something that is based on how we socially act with one another. And one of the ways we socially act with one another is putting on makeup. He's not comparing makeup to biology. Though if you want to be really pedantic, most makeup is made with biological means, so technically it is biology, you know, technical senses.
Here's Chloe Cole. I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson flail around trying to describe gender as a spectrum and decided to refute some of his points in a short video. This is, you know, there's going to be more of this. By the way, shout out to Chloe Cole. Big ups. I wonder where the...
Shout out so much that he had to follow her live on his video. Just throwing that out there. It's funny.
Where did you put the video, Chloe? Where did you put the short video? Oh, maybe you responded to it. Okay.
Apparently, the XXXY chromosomes are insufficient. Because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice.
Dude should just stick to talking about space rocks. I think he's very, very good at that. I just find it bizarre that both of these famous...
And I find that very condescending for somebody who actually is an expert in their field. Now, granted, there are experts in their fields that I disagree with a lot, like Richard Dawkins. I think that outside of biology, the dude's kind of a fuck. But... So I understand a little bit of where he's coming from here, but this whole, like, you should just stick to talking about space rocks. Jeremy, do yourself a favor, then. Shut the fuck up and just stick to talking about Magic the Gathering. Oh, wait, Jeremy! You can't! Because you got banned from every Magic the Gathering event because you're a creep! Oh, never mind. You can't actually do that.
Scientists all have the same opinion on woke ideology, when it's something that should, you know, brought to you by the follow the science people. They were also, you know, get the jab so you don't end grandma people.
How about we stop
Oh, there we
confusing
go.
basic human biology with cosmetics? Like, what a weird jump. If I don't wear makeup most days. If I leave the house without makeup on, does that make me like 70% male?
Basic.
No, that's not what he said. So you literally have to deliberately misunderstand what he said. He said people feel a certain way and then act a certain way afterwards. Somebody feeling... Danny ain't watching, you don't have to annihilate him like that. But somebody would feel a certain way and then make an action based on that. The action does not make them that way. Makeup does not make someone a girl. What's going on internally is what makes somebody a girl or a guy. If you're a guy and you wake up every morning and you look in the mirror and you just see guy there, congratulations. You're a guy. Neat. Doesn't matter. There are people who wake up in the morning, they look in the mirror, and they don't see that. And that doesn't align with what's going on in their head. Sometimes that can be a short phase that needs to be dealt with on their own. Maybe they're going through something in life. But a lot of times, in fact, most times, when something like that is happening, especially after a certain age, that's something that's not going to go away. That's going to either manifest as dysphoria, or that's going to manifest as depression when things are not lining up right. That's going to end up being you as a person having to come to terms with whether or not you might actually be trans. Now note, only a small percentage of human society is trans. But even a smaller percentage of that society detransitions when they start. And even a smaller percentage of that maintain the detransitioning once they realize that it's mostly social pressure that's causing them to do that. But like I said, if you wanted to make it seem like there was a wave of detransitioners that was freaking out about this, and you wanted to put a giant poster on this, then you would get a group of about 10 or so detransitioning activists, and you would get them big on social media. You would put them up on Fox News. You would put them up in various different channels that conservative outlets like to watch, because those people are primed, generally speaking, they are primed to listen to stories about how trans people are invalid. Because currently, the GOP, Republicans, on as far as the politicians are concerned, in America, are attempting to make the fight over trans rights the thing that they are fighting on the most. Because historically, they lost the battle against, black people's rights in the civil rights movement. They lost the suffragette movement. They've lost the battle against gay people's ability to marriage. They've lost every one of these battles so far. This is the current battleground they're in. This is the current battleground that they are in. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, please historically look back. Anything post-FDR, so post-Southern strategy times, please look at the actual actions that were taken by Republican politicians year after year after year, the bills that they put through, the laws that they tried to enact, and the arguments that they brought up against things like women being able to vote, like equal rights under the law for people of different races in America. Please look at where those lines are drawn after the Southern strategy. You can do this whole, but who founded the KKK thing? You're right, Democrats did, before the Southern strategy, which is when we had a political flip. Well, somewhat of a flip. Democrats went kind of sort of center-ish left, and then Republicans had to basically grab all of the far-right enthusiasts from the KKK to swell their ranks again, because that's what the Southern strategy was. It wasn't so much a flip. Only one party flipped. The Democrats were slightly moving in that direction because of FDR. But anyway, no, Sakura. What I'm saying is, FDR made the Democratic Party so popular in the United States. The Southern strategy was concocted so that the Republicans had a voter base to win elections. The FDR and the Southern strategy are intrinsically linked, because FDR was the pivot shift largely for Democrats in America, and the Southern strategy needed to be done as a way to course correct for Republicans afterwards. I did not click away from your video.
Make sure you follow them on Twitter. It's at Chew Cole. See a trans kid.
I read that the United States was a land where we have the pursuit of happiness.
If it was only truly about aesthetics, nobody would care. It's my business. Because you're using 1950s gender stereotypes to justify an ideology that leads to the sterilization and mastectomies of 15-year-old girls who just don't fit in. Girls like me.
Hashtag save the tomboy, right?
Oh my god, this stupid save the tomboy shit. You know that... So there's a myth that's been purveying everywhere that has been reinforced over and over again, especially by the Epic Times recently. And it's the myth that outside pressures are trying to force tomboys to transition. By and large, that is not happening at a statistically significant rate. It's just not. Tomboys exist. There are girls who act more guyish, and that's fine. Nobody's saying that tomboys don't need to exist or that the tomboys are probably trans. Also, sterilization. So let's go ahead and talk about that one real quick. Puberty blockers have a chance of making it harder to have kids. They do not sterilize you. Let me make that clear. They don't sterilize you. But they do affect the rate at which you might be fertile. They do. Just like going on HRT affects your fertility. It does not make you sterile, but it affects your fertility. Now, if somebody wants to say, no, it definitely makes you sterile, then why do we have cases of trans men who are pregnant? Why do we have cases of their trans girlfriends getting them pregnant? This is a thing that happens because your fertility is decreased when you go on hormone therapy. It is decreased from puberty blockers, but it is not eliminated. HRT is not magic birth control. That's not how it works. Now, there's something that should be noted here as well. We put way too much fucking stock on fertility. I'm sorry, but in a world where we need more kids to be adopted, in that world where we need to be making the adoption industry suck less, we don't need people fighting so hard about, oh my god, this has a chance of lowering your fertility rates. My guy, by that logic, we should ban tidy whities. We must ban tidy whities. Do you know what one of the #1 things that affects male fertility rates are? Wearing tidy whities. I shit you not. And the reason for that is kind of funny. The human body, the male human body, the reason that your balls drop when you get older is because your body is trying to move your testicles further away from the internals of your body, because sperm cannot flourish in an environment that is too warm. They need to be distended away from the body so that sperm can be created without literally singeing itself to death. When you wear tidy whities and you scrunch those balls closer and closer and closer to your body, you are increasing their temperature and therefore lowering your fertility. I shit you not. Please, after this video, go Google how tidy whities affect fertility rate. It's a real thing, and it is morbidly fascinating. It is morbidly fascinating.
It's wild to me that this is still, a thing, and it's been a very short period of time, hasn't it? Are there legitimately people with gender dysmorphia? Of course.
You mean dysphoria, body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria.
Are those numbers wildly inflated because of the fame and fortune that seem to come with it by apps like TikTok or pharmaceutical companies? And
Wait. Do you think people are trying to be trans because it gives them fame and fortune? What? In what world? In what world are people getting fame and fortune just for being trans? Is every trans person Dylan Mulvaney now? Is that what we're pretending? What? Nobody's transitioning for bag. Nobody's transitioning for a bag, my guy. Jesus Christ. This feels like I think you're right, Moonstar. This feels like projection. This feels like Jeremy going, What can I do to be more popular? Maybe if I had boobs. Maybe if I had boobs. Maybe. Just a little HRT as a treat. Jeremy, you owe me $1 million. Get rich and famous with this one surprising trick. Grow breasts. I just... If it's mostly just going to be him playing the Chloe video and just nodding along and agreeing with it, I don't think I need to go much further here. I think we're done. I think we can be done here. Not only does Jeremy misunderstand half the shit he talks about, but this is literally him just playing a video and smiling and nodding to it. I can't think of anything more boring to watch. So we're going to stop being boring. We're going to go play video games. But okay. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is there more to this video that I'm not seeing? Should I be looking more into it? Should I give Jeremy 6 more minutes of my precious time on Earth? Takes me a lot less time than that to finish. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here.